Welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
And I'm Sally.
Sit back, relax,
and enjoy our review of Money in the Bank.
We begin with the women's Money in the Bank match between Alexa Bliss, Roxanne, Perez, Naomi, Stephanie Vaquer, Giulia and finally Rhea Ripley. We started with a mass brawl and the veterans winning out, sending the newcomers to the outside, with Naomi then dealing with Ripley and Bliss and then bringing in the first ladder. After everyone came in and did a bit, we witnessed a moonsault from Perez on Ripley with the first ladder of the night then being set up.
Rather than being concerned with getting the briefcase, Giulia and Perez took it upon themselves to sandwich Ripley between a ladder and then take her outside the ring to pile a ton more on top of her, in the likelihood that that will do for her. Meanwhile, back inside the ropes, Naomi sets a ladder up with everyone then semi-climbing up but ultimately failing, as there's always someone there to pull you back down.
We then get the double ladder with Bliss and Perez on one and Naomi and Vaquer on the other. But Bliss bails, takes out Naomi and Vaquer and then pushes the ladders over. But Perez and Giulia, who had started to climb the ladder, jumped off before they fell off. The two then dropped Bliss on a ladder, sending her from the ring. Ripley then arose from her bed of ladders and razor-edged Perez into Naomi before dropping Giulia across the ladder, face first.
Nice. Ripley then makes a ladder bridge, looking to Riptide Vaquer onto it, but Vaquer somehow manages to reverse this into a devil's kiss, and then heads for the briefcase, having dealt with Ripley. Vaquer gets her hands on it, but Perez just about stops her. Another ladder bridge then gets set up, and we witness a duel code red, Perez on Vaquer and Bliss on Naomi.
Giulia then heads back in the ring, dismantles the ladder bridge and then climbs for the case. Perez meets her on the other side, with the two then fighting at the top. They of course get pulled down, with Giulia suffering a riptide, courtesy of Ripley, and Perez assists Abigail from Bliss. The two then head up the ladder, but soon scramble back down when they see Naomi heading towards them. They're not quick enough though, as Naomi pushes the ladder over, with Bliss and Rhea falling and landing on another ladder.
Naomi then sets the ladder back up, climbs up, stops to have a look around and then continues to the apex of the ladder, where she reaches up, grabs the briefcase and unhooks it. Naomi wins Money in the Bank.
Which, that was my prediction.
Yeah.
I'm glad of that. As I say, any of them could have won, but I just feel her with the case will be...
Yeah,
I'm
glad that she won.
And her character is next level for me.
Yeah.
We have an impromptu match next with Dominik Mysterio against Octagón Jr. No, me neither. For the Intercontinental Championship. Live with Dom, of course. This began on Worlds Collide, which we didn't see, when Dom started mouthing off after Octagón's match. Okay. Many spins, corkscrews, twists and tumbles can't get the job done for Octagón, but a 619 and frog splash do for Dom, who then covers Jr. and retains his Intercontinental title. I'm still not watching Worlds Collide.
Next up, Lyra Valkyria against Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, with Becky wasting no time in barely waiting for the bell to ring before taking it to Lyra. Becksploders and powerbombs are exchanged, as are covers and kickouts, with a great looking DDT by Lynch getting her another 2-count cover. I thought Valkyria was going to pick up the win after a superplex and fisherman's suplex, but Lynch somehow kicked out on 2.
No idea how. We head to the outside with the crossbody from Lyra, who then follows up with a leg drop on Lynch, who's hung up on the timekeeper's barrier. When back inside the ropes, we witness a manhandle slam from the second rope, so a super manhandle slam, which Lyra somehow kicks out of on 2. We then go back outside with Lynch pushing Lyra into the ring post and Lyra responding with Nightwing.
This takes it out of both women, with them just about making it back into the ring as the ref's count reaches 9. After exchanging blows, the two then exchange pinning combinations, with Lynch winning out, after what appeared to be her pulling Valkyria's tights. So yes, Becky Lynch wins and becomes the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. After the match, Lyra did raise Becky's hand, but Becky also wanted Lyra to place the belt around her waist. Lyra obliged, but then German suplex the new champion and followed up with a Nightwing.
Now, just going on the predictions, I mean, I said Becky would win, but my gut feeling was the fact that why are you now having another match for the title? So, yeah, boo to that one. Next up, the men's Money in the Bank between Seth Rollins, Penta, El Grande, Americano, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, and finally LA Knight. Seth gets taken out first. Well, he is the bad guy, with Solo then suffering the same fate. Well, he is the bad guy. Penta hits an early crossbody to the outside, while Wade Barrett discusses Gable and Americano's nipple sizes. As he does, Americano accidentally drops a ladder on Andrade's, well, you know where.
Back in the ring, Gable drops Seth on a ladder, with Solo then throwing Americano into another. Knight then elbow drops Solo on a ladder after he reversed a Samoan drop attempt, with he and Penta then fighting it out atop another ladder that's way too small to reach the case. After a triple ladder 6-man fight, we end up with Seth facing Solo, with the two then going at it.
Seth bests Solo and sends him from the ring after a stomp, with Rollins then bringing in yet another ladder. Seth ascends the ladder only for Grande to chase after him and lock the ankle lock in atop the ladder. Andrade and Penta then get involved, with Andrade sunset flipping Grande and Penta superplexing Seth, with Seth landing on a ladder.
Andrade makes a ladder bridge and probably wishes he hadn't, as he suffers a Mexican destroyer on it from Penta, with Solo then heading back to the ring and taking out Penta before mocking the luchador. El Grande Americano dishes out the German suplexes before digging out an extra long ladder from under the ring, using it to take everybody out, and then sets it up for the long climb to the top.
Penta meets El Chad at the top of the ladder and knocks him down, only for Seth to then have a go. As the two fight, we cut to Americano placing a metal plate in his mask, and then cut back to Seth and Penta, with Penta winning out. LA Knight then softly tosses Americano into a ladder leaning against a ring post on the outside, which Gable then uses to climb to the top of a turnbuckle. Luckily for El Grande, there's another ladder waiting for him at that turnbuckle, to which he then uses to catapult himself onto the main ladder in the middle of the ring.
After landing on the main ladder, El Chad climbs to the top and lands a headbutt to Penta, inevitably sending him crashing to the mat. Knight then chases after Grande and brings him crashing down, with Gable barely missing another ladder as he lands that could have gone very wrong. Everyone then has another go at retrieving the case, with Andrade even hanging off of it. But then the most obvious thing happens. After Knight sends Rollins over the top rope, we cut to Seth calling out his goons, with Bron Bronson then heading out.
Bron spears Gable and Knight, with Reed, Tsunami and Andrade, with the two attack dogs then staring down Solo. Just as it's about to get ugly for Sikoa, out come Fatu and JC, with the four unwanted guests then meeting in the ring. Breaker and JC end up outside, with Bron spearing Mateo through the timekeeper's barrier, while inside the ring, Fatu manages a pop-up Samoan drop to Reed and then dives out the ring at him after Reed had rolled out the ring.
Fatu then sees Solo and declares his love for him, before helping him back into the ring and setting a ladder up for him.
That's nice.
Solo thanks Fatu and then begins to climb the ladder, only as he's reaching for the case, Fatu stops him. Solo looks down to see what the problem is, with Fatu saying, "I hate you," followed by Jacob pulling Solo down and super kicking him. A moonsault and then a rock bottom from off the apron onto a ladder bridging the ring and crowd barrier did for Solo, with Cole calling it a spinning solo, yet Fatu did not spin. Fatu then left the scene of the crime, and I think they may have split up.
See, which just goes back to what we said about SmackDown.
Yeah.
You can't have Bloodline 3.0 facing off against Seth's Alliance when Bloodline 3.0 are clearly not reading from the same page. Anyway, this left Seth to set up another ladder and climb, only for Knight to pull him down as he reached for the case, with Knight then heading up. Only Seth wasn't done, as he pulled Knight down, threw him into the ladder and stomped him. This left Seth alone, and all we could do is look on as Seth climbed the ladder, unclipped the briefcase and won Money in the Bank, which you did say.
I did say.
I thought it was the obvious call.
Very obvious. Clearly, that's why.
Yeah, I don't think he needed it.
No.
They didn't need this because that alliance is already taking off. They didn't need any extra push. It's already going. So that's why I thought, well, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, but then because of obviously his mates coming down, it was just bound to happen.
Yeah, but anyway.
Last match of the night, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and John Cena.
Ooh.
Team Face start well with Paul taking a beating. That is until he hits a blockbuster on Jey, which turns the tables with Team Heel then taking control and taking it to Jey. Cena and Paul take turns to punish Jey, with Cena hitting a 5-knuckle shuffle and then setting up for an AA. Jey reverses into a sleeper but still can't get away after Cena fights out and continues to beat Jey.
Gunther must be loving this, as Jey's been in the ring for about 10 minutes now and done nothing aside from getting beaten. After many tags, Cena and Paul have a communication breakdown and start arguing. This allows Jey to crawl very slowly to his corner and tag in Cody. Cody, of course, health meter full, takes Paul and Cena out. Cena suffers a Cody cutter while Paul gets sent to the outside.
Cody sets Cena up for crossroads, but gets pushed away into Paul, who's on the apron. Paul hits Rhodes with his metal hand, which sends Rhodes back towards Cena, who AAs him and covers. Jey barely makes the save on 2.9. We go move crazy then as Logan Paul tries his buckshot but slips on landing, so Jey super kicks him, with Cena then AAing Jey. Rhodes hits Crossroads on Cena and covers, but as he does, he notices Paul springboarding off the top rope, so breaks the cover, which sees Paul land on Cena instead. Paul gets up and then goes back down after a spear from Jey.
Jey superkicks Cena out the ring, with Jey and Paul then throwing hands. Paul wins out, with Rhodes and Paul then trading blows, with Paul getting the best of the former champ and hitting him with a pulverizer. Paul, instead of covering, goes up top and awaits his drone to land on his hand, which gives Rhodes time to get up to Paul and superplex him, followed by an Uso splash from Jey. The drone did land on Paul's hand, and he held it while Rhodes suplexed him off the top rope. We saw the move through the drone camera, which was different, but not really necessarily what we needed, as we missed Jey's splash, and all you really saw was a close-up of Paul's face.
And we don't
I mean,
really.
it's a little gimmick. You've done it. Let's move on.
Cena heads back in the ring after resting on the outside and delivers AAs to Jey and Rhodes, with Rhodes kicking out on 2 at the follow-up cover. Cena then clears the announcer's table and seems to be setting Cody up for an AA through them, only this is stopped by Jey spearing Cena. Jey then needs a breather on the desk, which Paul sees as an opportunity to springboard moonsault over to him, sending the pair through the announcer's desk.
It did look good, to be fair. Cena and Rhodes have made it back into the ring, and while the ref tends to Jey, Cena clocks Rhodes with the title. Before Cena can do anything though, a hooded figure enters the ring and beats him up. The figure reveals himself to be R-Truth. I thought it might have been Randy Orton. Before he hits Cena with the title, exits the ring and escapes through the crowd. The referee at this point just about managed to crawl back into the ring, with Rhodes also coming too. One crossroads later and it's all over as Rhodes covers Cena for the 1, 2, 3. Now we both got this wrong.
We did.
Didn't we?
Yep.
We both said that Cena and Paul would win. I thought it was too obvious. They'd be like, well, why are the good guys going to win? There's no titles on the line.
Yeah.
Baddies can win, or heels. You know, they'll pick up the victory. Paul will win, be like, yeah, I deserve a title shot.
Yeah.
But Truth's come in. See, and I think, is this the moment Truth was on about when he said he'd knock some sense back into Cena? When he said,
Yeah.
Because there was on about it, like, sort of, because from what I can tell, he's gone.
Yeah, well,
That's it.
it said they're not renewing the contract, so we don't know when it ends.
But from what the commentators were saying, they were sort of saying, oh, what's he doing here?
Yeah.
He shouldn't be here. But I thought it was Orton to start with, because he's not been there, and he's like, well, he wants his revenge on Cena.
Yeah.
But then he was like, oh, it's R-Truth, much to the delight of everybody in the crowd. But overall, I enjoyed the whole thing. Not sure about the Dominik Octagón Junior match. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, it wasn't really needed.
And it was built up from Worlds Collide, which we didn't
was
see.
literally only a few hours before.
Yeah.
So.
And apparently Chad lost to Vikingo, which is a shame.
Yeah.
I bet he won't beat El Grande Americano.
No, definitely not.
Anyway, if you enjoyed that, which we did, then give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, why don't you consider subscribing? But whatever you choose, thank you so much for watching.
And hopefully we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.